like, let me see. Okay, look, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for the support. My goal is 200 subscribers. So like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. This is going to be a video about the assassination, my reaction to the world's reaction to the assassination attempt on Trump's life. And, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm trying not to lose it. But I thought about this, I looked at the reaction. And when it happened, I knew that this would happen. I knew it. I didn't know it would happen this hard, but I knew conspiracy theories were going to come. I knew the Republicans were going to go crazy with this. I knew it, right? And so it's just insane to me. Like, it's just like the media it's terrible. Like, the media that's really one of the huge problems we have in America. I mean, in the world, is media and media coverage and how stuff is covered. And I just don't get it. Trump, somebody attempts assassination attempt on Trump, right? And people are blaming that on Joe Biden, of all people. Sleepy Joe. And they're doing that in two ways. One is saying that Joe Biden's rhetoric is dangerous and caused somebody to become inflamed, engulfed in whatever, and go out and try to shoot Trump. And the second way is that Biden got the Secret Service and set it up through the Secret Service because the Secret Service made a mistake. And so there's a conspiracy that through the Secret Service, they set it up to where they would let somebody shoot at Joe Biden. Okay, right. Okay, which makes no sense. It's a 20-year-old. Looks like a virgin. Like, looks like a school shooter. He looks like he would be somebody that does that. Okay, so let's just think about it. Like, let's just think about it. They said, well, you know what? We're going to watch this Piers video first, and then we'll get to my points.
But the focus of the night was undoubtedly Trump.
Can you see that? Okay. Put the headphones on.
Trump himself, a man who now looks like he's seriously preparing for a return to running the country. President Biden, meanwhile, fumbled questions about his own incendiary rhetoric in the lead up to Saturday's shooting.
You hear this?
You called your
Piers
opponent
Morgan's
an
disgusting.
existential threat. On a call a week ago, you said it's time to put Trump in the bullseye. There's some dispute about the context, but I think you appreciate that
I didn't say
words
crosshairs. I was talking about focus on. Look, the truth of the matter was, what I guess I was talking about at the time was there was very little focus on Trump's agenda.
Yeah, the term is bullseye.
It was a mistake to use the word. I didn't say crosshairs. I meant bullseye. I meant focus on him. Focus on what he's doing.
What a pathetic excuse from, frankly, an increasingly pathetic president. Let's be
And I'm about to lose it already, bro. Do you see this? Look, he looks orange like Trump. Do you see this? This man, this British bum over talking about America. This British bum is talking about American politics over here spreading conspiracy theories. He just said that Biden, this man is post-hawking, looking back into the past. He said, Biden said, we need to focus on the bad things Trump has did. People are not focusing on that. And after Trump gets assassinated, almost gets killed, they're trying to point that and say that is why Trump got shot at. Do you know why Trump got shot at? Let me explain it to you. Trump got shot at because he says things like, grab them by the kitty cat. He says things like, all those dirty countries, all those brown peoples from those terrible countries. He says things like, the election was stolen he says things like, repeatedly, he says things like, the COVID vaccine, like he challenges COVID. He tried to overthrow the election. He has literally posted on his website, Truth Social, that he wants to suspend the Constitution. He has literally talked about going after his political rivals when he gets in office. He has literally talked about putting people in case in the DOJ when he gets in office to go after his political rivals. He's talked about going after newspapers who talk negatively about him. Trump is, all he does is attack people. He made fun of a prisoner of war for getting caught and tortured in war. He made fun of somebody, Pelosi's husband, for being attacked with a hammer and almost murdered. He was attacked with a hammer. And they're comparing what Biden said to focus on Trump's policy to that. Like, could you imagine, like, how biased do you have to be? And you can tell he's biased because he's orange like Trump. They're both the same color. Look at them. Look, they're both the same color. That's what I'm going to do. When I make the thumbnail, I'm going to take this exact picture. I'm going to screenshot it. I'm going to cut Pierce's face out, and I'm going to put an equal sign to Trump. Because, and then, you know, I can't do that because it's YouTube, but like, to even compare the two things is insane to me. To compare the two things, that's all Trump does is attack people. That's all he does is attack people. That's his whole, he doesn't have a policy agenda. His whole goal is to attack people. Biden is talking about policies. It's talking about, like, to think that Biden is the reason Trump got shot at and Democrats are the reason Trump got shot at. When Trump has been convicted of 34 counts of felony. He's been sued. He's a civilly liable rapist. He has lost his business license in New York. And if he doesn't win the appeal, he's going to have to pay $400 million to the government. He's going to lose his business, all the businesses, all the buildings, because he doesn't have $400 million in cash. Like, to think that Trump isn't the reason Trump got shot at, to think that is insane to me. To blame that on somebody else, who has, like, Democrats and Joe Biden, like, they have did everything they do everything right. They do everything right. You know what I'm saying? They do everything right. You know, Trump and them, the Republicans, they can do whatever they want. They can literally do whatever they want, say whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. It's okay. Biden literally can't even say anything wrong. And it's a problem. Trump said that, like, planes flew over during the what was it, the American Revolution or something? And they don't care. When Trump, like, so to think that all these negative things Trump has said, and he does, and he's still doing, and to blame Trump getting shot at on Biden, it just doesn't make sense. It's disgusting. And then this same person, Piers Morgan, is about to push conspiracy theories, actual conspiracy theories, on why, like, what happened.
So clear. Nobody thought Biden was talking about archery when he used the word bullseye, and he knows it. The presidential...
Yeah, nobody thought he was talking about shooting at Donald Trump neither. Nobody even said that until after it happened. And that's how you know, because if that was the case, then after Biden said that, people would say, oh, wow, he's talking about killing the president. Nobody said that until after, so you could post hoc make up some stuff because you love Trump so much. Y'all are butt buddies just because you've been on this television show. Like, to think like this. I couldn't imagine thinking like this. I don't know what I would do with myself.
Move would have been to say that everyone on all sides needs to dial down their incendiary rhetoric. But this president hasn't looked presidential for a long time now. One positive move Biden's made in the fallout from the tragedy on Saturday is to finally order the Secret Service to protect R.F. Kennedy Jr. The last thing America needs right now is yet more political violence.
Okay, so, but what does that have to do with anything? And this is what I'm saying, the biased. Like, who is trying to attack him? Nobody is. Like, let's just get to that.
Especially involving
like in the bullseye or
on better equipped in the political world than you to comment on what appears to have been a massive failing by the Secret Service on Saturday in their duty to protect President Trump. What did you make of it?
Well, I just wanted to say I really loved your monologue just now that talked about the idea of dialing down political rhetoric on both sides, as well as the dangers of utilizing words like in the bullseye or, regardless of what he says he went to indicate, it's obviously what he indicated.
No, it's not. No, it's not. If that's the case, then what about all the stuff Trump said? And it's how you know y'all are, like, these people are biased and they're on their knees double gawking Trump. Like professional, like better than Riley Reid and them folks. Like, because there is just no way, you can say that somebody who legitimately tried to overthrow the government, legitimately, the election happens, he loses. On the night of the election, he says, I'm gonna break it down for you. I watched everything. I know it all. He said, on the night of the election, he knew beforehand that it was COVID's year. We had a record number of ballots that were going to be mailed in that were counted up. Multiple people told him that. On the night of the election, he said, we won. Mike Pence came up right behind him. He said, no, we didn't. Right? And then after he lost, the election was fake, blah, blah, blah. And then he got in 7 states, he got 7 sets of different people to lie and say that they were electors, the proper electors for that state. These people were not approved by the state. They put fake seals on the papers, and they walked up on the day of January 6th, or whenever they did the electors. They walked up to the courthouse, or whatever houses, I guess the congressional houses, wherever they do the electors at, and they tried to get in the building and say we were the official selectors with paper and all. And that 7 different groups of people did this, knew they was lying. Well, maybe not all of them knew it was against the law or whatever, but 7 different groups of people did this. And then on January 6th, when they were going to confirm that, to get Pence, to push Pence to do it, to be like, oh, we're confused about these ballots, because the plan was to get those ballots in, and when they get those ballots in, they're like, oh, we don't know which ballots to pick, the Trump ballots or the Biden or the real ballots or the Trump ballots. And then Mike Pence was going to be like, oh, I don't know, let's send it back to Congress, and then they're going to vote, and because there are more Republican states and Democratic states, they would choose Trump. Because, I mean, if you look at the Electoral College, there are more Republican states. Like, that's the reason why we have the Electoral College, is for the smaller states, okay? So they get more representation, right? And so that was the plan. And on January 6th, Trump called his people to come, told them to march down to the Capitol where it was happening. He said, I'm gonna march with you. We're gonna save our democracy. We're gonna get Mike Pence to do what is right. And when he said that, what he was talking about was the elector scheme. To think that somebody wouldn't be, to think, it's really 50-50 right now. If you look at polling, if you base it off polling, if you look at the media, it's 100 Trump, 100-0 Biden. You know what I'm saying? So, but if you know what I'm saying, it's so, I lost my place. Whatever. So to think that somebody who, it's 50-50 right now. And, all the media saying Trump's going to win, So to think somebody wouldn't try to assassinate somebody they thought who actually tried to overthrow the government is an insurrectionist who tried to overthrow the democratic government that we have. A convicted felon, a civilly liable rapist. To think that Biden is the reason why he got shot at, it's just insane. It's insane, okay? It's insane, right? It's actually insane. And to say that the Secret Service let it happen. And for some, Biden had something to do with that, and they wanted Trump to die. Because that's what these people are saying. That's the media's response to Trump's assassination attempt. It's Biden's fault. Political rhetoric on both sides is, and you know what I'm saying? It's Biden's fault, not Trump's fault. It's Biden's fault, and Secret Service, which Biden has something to do with that too, is almost let him die. Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like, so to think.
Was that he wants to put him in the crosshairs. But, I just want to go ahead and say that, this, in my opinion, is such a massive failure. It's such a big negligence on behalf of the advanced teams to say that a target, which is 160 yards away, perfectly adjacent to the stage, was outside the perimeter. The perimeter is formed and it's discerned by the counter sniper teams, by the advanced teams, and by the security details. I can tell you, as someone who has conducted thousands of advances, both on the Afghan and Iraq side, as well as for back home, has done multiple counter sniper team deployments, looking at overwatch positions, looking at how we react and mitigate threats, that this in its entirety, and I'm not a conspiracist, Pierce. I'm not one who tries to find my way to a, inside job type of setup, but I am also a military guy who believes in the what if scenarios of all things. And I think the American people deserve a true investigation, not by the FBI, but by Congress, to look and identify every single
Why not
area
by
from
the
local
FBI?
force consolidation, from looking at the cooperations that were on the ground, from resource allocations by the director of the Secret Service. And I think that people deserve to feel confident that this wasn't anything but massive malice or negligence, as opposed to something that was intentional.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, there's some extraordinary details.
See what they're implying, right? They're trying to say, like, oh, we want to. Obviously, there's going to be an investigation. Obviously. But why would you even have to put, oh, I'm not a conspiracy theorist in front of it? Because you know what you're implying. You know that, right? You know what you're implying. To think. He said he's did thousands of things, right? The question I would ask him is, have you ever made a mistake? Have you ever made a mistake in any of those operations? I'm sure you have. I'm sure you're not 100% perfect. Thousands of operations. Have you ever let your guard down? Think about it. Let's just really think about it. Think about it. Really think about it. What makes sense? What makes sense? That Biden and the Secret Service were in cahoots to get rid of Trump? Or nothing has ever happened to Trump at a rally? You know what I'm saying? Trump people love him. They were in the middle of, where were they at? I forgot where they were. They were in the middle of nowhere. Who would have thought? Everybody was surprised. Who would have thought that somebody would try to shoot at Trump and try to kill him? Like, who would have thought? Right? That's the logical conclusion. And until you find some other evidence, then it was just malpractice. It was just a mistake. They made a mistake. Trump has did tons of rallies. Tons. They just got caught. They got caught slacking. They made a mistake. It's that simple. It's that simple. If it was really a setup, they would have just, I wouldn't even ran up on the stage. Like, what are we doing? To think that after the attempted assassination of a former president, that these are the talking points. It's to blame it on another president, not look at the president's actions that might have led to that. Like, imagine blaming, like, Martin Luther King Jr. Like, we all know why Martin Luther King Jr. got assassinated, right? Because he was pushing for a movement that was, you know what I'm saying? Civil rights movement. Just get rid of Jim Crow, you know what I'm saying? All that, right? To think, why would I blame, like, MLK said it himself. He said, I might not live long. I might not live long. I might get got, because he understood that the movement he was pushing, when you do stuff like this, people are gunning for you, right? So think about it. He knew what he was doing. He understood the potential consequences. So why would we blame Biden if Trump has been pushing, he's been attacking people his whole political career. He tried to overthrow, I don't want to keep repeating this stuff. All the stuff he did, one of the natural conclusion from that is people will dislike you. And then the conclusion from that is they might dislike you enough to try to end your life. Okay? So, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. Like, we didn't blame, like MLK knew he could have got. You know that, right? You know that, right? He did that knowing he could have got. And he did. And he did. Let's go to another video. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but it really doesn't matter because I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted with people like Piers Morgan and the rest of the media. They disgust me. They literally disgust me because, like, Republicans get away with whatever they want. They can say whatever. They can do whatever they want. They can push COVID misinformation for years and say the government, what is the CDC and and Fauci, they're going to take us over. They're going to make us, like, have you ever used your COVID card again? I got my COVID card sitting in my box right now. My box of important documents. I haven't used it since college. Look at this. I got my COVID card right here. Look at it. Look at it. I haven't used it since. They said the government was going to be, they're going to use this to take back power. They're going to use this, like, just think about all the stuff. The election misinformation. They literally pushed it. People still believe. They got like a good chunk of the Republican Party thinking the election was stolen. They brought 60 cases to the courts. They all failed. They all failed. And Trump is still not admitting that he lost. Could you imagine? It just doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't.
Chastise.
And then, this is my second part of it. Another bad part about the media is they do this thing where it's, and I've talked about it, they say it's even. And people like Asman go do this. And even this, this video is an hour and 30 minutes. It's an hour and 30 minutes. He says a lot of stuff that I agree with in this video. He does. I love Destiny. Destiny, my guy. That's my guy right there. I'm going to talk to him one day when I email him or just get the motivation to get in the Discord or whatever. But look, people like Asmongold, and sometimes I can't watch Asmongold's opinion on stuff because what he does, like, the most, he has like some of the most milk toast, and I don't mean like white. I don't know what milk toast, I mean, I don't know if milk toast means white. It's just like mid opinions. And when I say mid, he just says, like, sometimes he just says some of the most basic stuff that you could say, right? He didn't really, you know what I'm saying? It's not really, sometimes. And I just can't watch it. And he does it here. And what he does is he says, I just let him explain it.
People for celebrating the near assassination of a man who was president of the United States and maybe again?
Absolutely not. Conservatives have completely bled that well dry. And the idea that they, after engaging in the most divisive and most extreme rhetoric that this country has seen in recent history, that they would come on and beg for sympathy, that it's escalated into some kind of violent confrontation is absolutely insane. Even the idea right now of saying, well, if you call somebody a Nazi for so long, it's, what do you expect people to do? I grew up listening to Rush Limbaugh call Obama a communist every single day he was on the radio. You've got conservatives that talk about how the mRNA vaccines were ways to sneak microchips into us. You've got COVID lockdowns that were done because the government was trying to take all your freedom away. They won't acknowledge anything that happened on January 6th. They say that the election was stolen and that your country is being taken from you. Like, I don't think anybody should be killed. I don't think anybody should go out and kill anybody. But when you engage in this type of rhetoric and when you turn the temperature up over and over and over and over again, there is absolutely no room for you to be shocked or surprised.
Okay.
He's right. He's right. About something, it's like such a stupid, like, virtue signal conversation. It's super stupid. I can already tell you what's going to happen. Like,
you say you don't want anybody killed.
Yeah.
And yet you say, I don't think I have much sympathy about the attempt to chastise people celebrating it.
This
people
is like
celebrating the near assassination of Donald Trump. If you can't find it in you to chastise people who do that, aren't you just as despicable as the people you've just spent the last 2 minutes haranguing?
No, because they've led the way. This is the environment that they've created.
So you think behaving like the
I
people?
disagree with that. I don't think that I don't think conservatives are like they've created this. I think this has just happened on its own.
It hasn't.
I don't think anybody really created it. It's just like it's a sense of
It's
mutual
not.
escalation
It's
that's
not.
happened over
It's
time.
not mutual. It's not mutual. As you said, like if Asmongold wrote on a board, a whiteboard, the stuff that escalated on both sides, if he wrote it on a whiteboard, what he would find is what the Republicans do is a list that would fill a book up. And what Democrats do is a list that would maybe fill a page up. If we go back a decade, right? If we go back a decade, it would fill a book up for Republicans. A book up, because they just lie and they just say whatever they want to say, right? And to think the two, that's what I don't like, because he does this thing where, it's when I say milquetoast, he's comparing the two like they're even. And I hate when people do this. They don't know much about politics, or they say that the Democrat Party and the Republicans are, they're not. These are not the two similar groups. One group believes that vaccines are safe and don't kill you. The other group doesn't. That's like flat earth. That's like one group believing the earth is a spherical shape, which is, it's not really a sphere, but that's true. And the other side is flat earth. Like, you can't say these two things are even. And this is why I don't like, this is another problem with the media. They do this thing where it's both sides. They're both sides in it. Oh, it's on both sides. It's not. It's not both sides. Nothing about this is both sides. It's nothing about this is both sides. Nothing. Like, look at me. Nothing about this is both sides. Nothing. And to think that this is the reaction. This is the reaction to Trump being assassinated. It's Biden's fault. It's Biden's fault. It's not Trump's fault at all. Nothing Trump did or said had anything to do with it. It had to do with the the rhetoric from the Democrats calling him a Nazi when he actually quoted Hitler. When he said he liked quoting Hitler. When people report that he has a book on it, he had a book on his nightstand, a book Hitler written, he liked to read it. Like, so to think, like, if you can't say it's a both sides, because when Democrats say something, 90% of the time, it's true. Now, if you want to say, Tim, we have progressives on the Democratic Party, right? But they're like this, and that's when people both sides, that's what they think, because they see on the internet. On the internet, you see a bunch of progressives talking about DEI and the LGBTQA plus and all that. You see them talking and Black Lives Matter and defund the police. But if you look at the actual Democratic Party and you look in the House of Representatives in Congress, the progressives make up like this much of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party they make up like 2% of the actual electorate of the actually elected officials of the Democratic Party. Like 2%. So and they have a much louder voice on the internet, and progressives vote less. They do, and plus because progressives are younger and that group just tends to vote less. They're less politically motivated. But look, they're a small percentage of the Democratic population. So when they say crazy stuff, it's not really the Democratic Party, and they're louder than they are because they're on the internet and their voice is amplified. Okay, but for Republicans, when they say the vaccine is fake and kills you and is not safe and you can't trust Pfizer, or they say the election is stolen, 60% of the party believes that and supports a candidate that believes that and is pushing that. So you really can't compare the two things. You can't. You can't compare the two things. Because you can say, oh, Black Lives Matter, the Black Lives Matter movement and defund the police and the George Floyd marches. To Democrats condemn that. Republicans don't condemn January 6th. Do you see the difference? Do you understand the difference? Republicans don't condemn January 6th. They say, oh, it was a walk in the park. It was a tour. It was a guided tour. That's what they say. It was a guided tour. 2 people died. It was a guided tour. 2 people died. Right? And they compare January 6th to all of George Floyd the George Floyd protest. We're talking about like months of protests compared to one day. They compare one day to months of protest, right? And the majority of the George Floyd protests were peaceful. And those that were not were condemned by Democrats. But if you ask Republicans about January 6th, you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, oh, it's peaceful. Oh, and they don't even know about the ballots, the fake ballots, the fake electors. They don't even know about it. They don't even know that Trump truly tried to coup the government. When Trump says, for the first day, I'm going to act like a dictator, and then for the rest, I'm going to act normal. That is like, what? This is America. It's a democracy. And then, like, it's just, oh, man, the media's, like, the two aren't equal. They're not. And this reaction is disgusting. It's disgusting. To think. Like, to really look at what Trump has done. To look at it. And to not assume somebody might try to kill him. Even I was surprised, but I was surprised for a different reason. Because I thought that America was too soft, truly. I truly did. I thought it was too soft. You know, compared to what we was back in the day. I mean, we've had a lot of assassination attempts on presidents in key times. But I mean, if you look back in the day, like it's a different place nowadays. Like it's way softer. It's more fat people. It's more cushy. I just didn't expect it. Even though it's a country where we have a bunch of mass shootings every year, I truly didn't expect it. We don't have assassination attempts, but I truly didn't expect it. But if you do a logical breakdown of the stuff, if you lay down all the stuff Trump did, it makes sense that somebody, because of how much they dislike him and his policies and the things he's done, they might try to kill him. And to blame that on Biden. When Biden says something about Trump, he's basing that off a factual thing. It's something that actually happened. When Trump says something about Biden, he's just talking. Unless he's talking about him being old, he's just talking. So at the end of the day, look, man, if you disagree, comment. I'm sure I'm gonna get a bunch of Trumpers because, you know, usually when I make political videos, I get the people that dislike the video. So, I mean, like, comment, and subscribe. Piers Morgan is disgusting. I don't know why a Brit monger, especially their country. I mean, imagine. Like, and then to think that, like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It's disgusting. Like, I can't even comprehend it. And I'm just rambling. It's just to think that this is the reaction to an attempt on the former president's life, to just, for Republicans to be like, oh my God, they really tried to do it. And they always say they. Like, to think, they're saying they, and this is why they're pushing conspiracy theories, because every time you go to Fox, it's like, they tried to kill. Who is they? It was one 20-year-old. Until you got more evidence to show that it was they, then it was one 20-year-old. Okay? So, to just think that this is the response, to blame it on Biden, one, and then to bring up conspiracy theories, two, like, it's just, I don't know. You know, my goal is 200 subscribers. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you enjoyed, if you didn't enjoy, I really don't care, man. Have a good day.